And welcome to our final episode of the Formation Lap in 2025. Coming up on the show, we're going to catch up with our brand new Supercars champion, Chaz Mostert, and debrief what was a life-changing weekend for him in Adelaide. Plus, we'll look back on all the major season highlights for 2025. Hello, Mark Scaife. Good to see you. We've had a lot to come down off the back of, haven't we, when you think about what transpired for us in Adelaide. This new finals format has just delivered so much. Lots of twists and turns, plenty of drama, plenty of controversy, but in the end, a brand new champion and a deserved one at that. Absolutely. Just what a year, 2025. And those finals as a concept, after the Gold Coast, leading into Sandown, and then finally getting to the grand final in Adelaide, it was an unbelievable race meeting. And that feel of the Adelaide race meeting and the precinct and what they've done with the South Australian government was just unbelievable. It was one of the best race meetings I can remember. Heading into Sunday, we could have crowned anyone as champion, really, with the way that the points sat. But you have to say that Chaz Mostert and Walkinshaw Andretti United put together an unbelievable finals campaign. Chazzy finished first or second, bar one race through the finals. So he's been on a 13-year mission to get to this point, to taste the champagne on the very last Sunday of the championship. He is a deserving champion and he joins us now on the line. Chaz, congratulations once again. Champion, tell me the reaction, how it's feeling. Is it really sunk in now?
Hey, Jess and Mark. It definitely hasn't sunk in yet. It's still pretty surreal to think that we put an amazing final series together, and Sunday, all the emotion and the result was just unbelievable. So still hasn't quite sunk in. It'll still take some time over this Christmas, New Year's break, and just so proud of my team, Walkinshaw Andretti United, the organisation, that what they've been able to do this year, the focus, the plan, and executing it doesn't always go to plan. And trust me, I've got 12 or so years of plans not coming together. So just so proud of the guys and girls there and all our sponsors and fans. It's just unreal. Hey, Chaz, remarkable year and great momentum in the finals. But when you woke up on the Monday morning and you have a shave and you get yourself organised and think about being the 28th driver in history to be a champion of the Australian Touring Car Championship or Supercars year, has that part, I know the championship part that Jess just asked you about sinking in, but the history of it is monumental, isn't it? Oh, the history of our sport's everything. And we talk about it when we go to certain racetracks, you go to Sandown, and knowing the history of some of the greats that are driven around there, why Bathurst is so special, because you know the amount of time the race has been running and all these drivers that you've looked up to and idolised for so long, and saying you're young Australian supercar, well, not young anymore, I'm getting older, but when you first get on the scene as a young supercar driver, to think that you're just racing on these tracks where history has been done before is just so cool. So to say they were a V8 supercar champion now along the lines of, so many greats is just an absolute honour. It's still so hard to fathom. You had spoken about how meaningful it was for you to win this championship with Ford. Give us a sense of some of the reaction from the Ford fans after it. Yeah, it's been crazy, and I think it's one of those ones where I come through into the sport where it was you bleed blue or you bleed red, and the passion of our fans is second to none. And for me, it was a really weird moment in my career going to represent Holden when I first come to Walkinshaw Andretti United. It was the first time I went away from Ford, and I reached out to guys like Craig Lowndes, how am I supposed to handle this and all that kind of stuff. So full circle moment coming back to Ford in the Gen 3 era and bringing Walkinshaw Andretti United along for that journey as well has been so cool. And last couple of years have been really tough on the Ford side. The grit that the organisation has showed there to keep supporting on some leaner results and the car getting faster and faster and getting in the window to go for a championship, just to be able to reward everyone at Ford. And the amount of years I've raced for them is just so fitting to finish on that relationship. Hey, you had real momentum there, especially with the 2 wins at the Gold Coast and then another win straight after that at Sandown. But when you sit back and think about the year, what was your best drive? When you're, like, in a really personal way, what was your best drive of the year, mate? It would have to be probably Saturday at Adelaide out of everything. So I think it's one that's probably been a little bit overshadowed just because of everyone focused so much on the final race and everything that went down there. But we made it really tough for ourselves, especially myself in qualifying, making a couple of mistakes there and starting 12th. the risk of starting 12th when you've got everything on the line is huge. Anything can happen in them opening laps, and definitely tried to make it pretty hard for myself, trying to drive through the tyre bundle about 38 times, which I think you've probably mentioned. It pretty much hit everything but the pace car, but the resilience to show throughout the race, the way the car still held together and the performance it had at the end to get back into a podium position with starting that far down was something I'm probably really proud about. It's probably the one I'd probably prefer to watch other than Sunday's race, just because you just never give up. And it's always been our mentality at Walkinshaw and Andretti United. And even though it was it was easy to get down in the dumps, but we went into that race feeling real positive, and to get the positive outcome in the end was really cool on Saturday night.
You definitely drove the wheels off that thing. We were lucky. We were hanging on, hoping that you were going to get it across the line before it all started to fall apart. It was such an impressive performance. Take us then inside your mindset on Sunday when it was all to play for. Really, as we said, mathematically anyone could have won on Sunday. So there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of intensity. How are you feeling off the start? And then you had a front row seat, obviously, to that incident between Brock and Ryan. How did all that transpire from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, getting into Sunday and still knowing in the championship hunt, and a small amount of like 23 points, I think it was a real mentality like you have at Bathurst. Sometimes we talk about getting to the last 20 laps of Bathurst and you bought yourself a ticket to the show. So that's how I felt like the final series worked for us, getting to that last race on Sunday. Back to the start of the race here, and I've said it and I'll quote exactly what I've quoted already, is just seeing two young titans of this sport, two up-and-coming guys that are going to set the world on fire for many years, and seeing them absolutely leave nothing on the table. Woody, he had nothing to lose other than going for the race win on Sunday, and Brock had everything to lose. And at the end of the day, both of them got into that moment down into turn was 6 there at the time. So look, it's one I'm sure both would look at that they would slightly do something different, but at the end of the day, they're two race car drivers that are giving it their all for their teams, their sponsors, and their fans, and both of them, need the utmost respect from everybody because they left it all out there and raced as hard as they could. So, it's just that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I know you've been really vocal about what's transpired since then, because there's obviously been a lot of debate around that. And you've called out some of the really disappointing behaviour that we've actually seen online. And Supercars have put out a statement saying that there is absolutely no tolerance for that in our sport. And I wanted to commend you as the champion for speaking up about it too, because there is no place for that sort of behaviour in supercars or in professional sport. Yeah,
there is no place. We're all humans at the end of the day, and look, in any sport, there's going to be a winner and a loser. But at the end of the day, what we do and what we showcase on track is world class. And, definitely the series this year has changed a fair bit with the final series. We worked on everything to try and get ourselves a shot into that. And we all knew it was going to be close all the way down to the wire. And I think from a sports perspective, we've had more viewership and more people at the tracks for the last 3 rounds than we've had in the last 10 years. And for me, that's such a good sign to see in sport. And I think if you're very unhappy with the result on Sunday, well, then that's really good to see as well, because it means you care about the sport so much. You're so passionate about it. And if you didn't care, then you wouldn't, you're probably not a real Supercars fan at the end of the day. But if you're really happy with the result, it's exactly the same. And it's no different than what we talk about with Ford and Holden and the rivalry. It's what we really see in the fans. But most importantly, it's just remember everybody's human at the end of the day, and everyone deserves that respect. If it's something you wouldn't say to someone's face, you're definitely not going to go troll them online. And it's really upsetting because we can easily say as humans that, I'll just look at all the good comments, they outweigh the bad. But unfortunately, it's the bad ones that really stick with us and they eat us up. So I just want everyone to pull their head in and just remember that we're all human.
Well said, like a champion. You're an incredible ambassador for our sport. I hope you've got lots of celebrations planned in the next couple of weeks while we take a break for Christmas and the New Year. I know you're really motivated to come back. You've confirmed that you're going to run the #1 plate on the new Supra that'll be on the grid next year. So there's lots to look forward to for next year. But for right now, Chaz, congratulations once again. That was such a deserved result for you on Sunday. We're really proud of you, and go and enjoy this moment in time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I just really want to say thank you so much for broadcasting what you guys have done this year, Jess, Mark, and especially Crompo as well. What you guys give to the show is second to none. And everybody in the behind the scenes, it's so cool to let you guys tell our story on track from lap by lap. So thank you to the whole Supercars broadcast team. Really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
Thanks,
we love
mate.
working with you. Thank
Well
you
done.
so much. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, guys. You too.
He is a deserved champion, and I
Certainly
think we
is.
probably made that comment right back when he debuted, that he is going to be a star of the future, and that's now. The future is now, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and look, the momentum he had in the finals, Jess, we were talking about it. The single car team going into the finals had a strategic play around all that. So that all worked out in terms of how Chaz was going to optimise that chance, and that's what he did. He optimised the chance.
He certainly did. Well, that incident has definitely created plenty of debate.
Yep.
So let's take another look at it, because I guess the more we watch it back, I guess there are two parts to tell. And I thought Chaz actually summarised that quite well. For Ryan Wood, he had nothing to lose. He was trying to win a race. Brock Finney, he had everything to lose. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. Perhaps they would have both done something differently if they had that shot again. What was your viewpoint on it in that moment?
Well, I think it's both of the points you just made. I think really at the end, Brock needed to cover and not allow Ryan down the inside. And then the contact with Ryan, obviously he was penalised for the contact, and that was something that was unfortunate. I think the biggest part of all of that, and you take it all away, is actually that Brock Finney ended up with an engine issue, and he wasn't going to win on that day.
No.
So, you know, we talk about the incident itself, and to your point and to Chaz's, you know, fans are so passionate. Sometimes they're on brand lines, sometimes they're on team lines, sometimes they're on driver lines, right? Doesn't matter how you follow it. We have the most passionate fans that are hooked onto our sport of any sport in this country. And then when you then take that into a day like that, where there were 4 people that could have won,
Yep.
and as it turned out, Brock Finney, that was seeing the scenes there, he was absolutely
this is
distraught.
tough.
I mean, and deservingly so. You can't have a year with 19 poles and 14 wins, and you would think that would win that for you. So clearly that was something that at the end of the day, it's been very difficult for Brock to deal with, and he's done a great job of handling that.
Sure has.
But an engine issue, a mechanical failure in car racing is a cruel outcome.
And so we can say ultimately that is why he didn't win the championship.
Yep.
He had engine failure on Sunday, regardless of what happened between he and Ryan Wood earlier on in the race. Unfortunately for Brock, it was not going to be his day. Well, this is what he had to say to Larko after the race.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It's a new system that they've got. You can have a shocker in the last race of the year and it all falls apart. But I just want to thank everyone on my crew. Congrats to Chaz. Obviously, he had a great final series. Sort of a shame how it was all going down there at the start, and then our issues came along. So no matter what happened today, the thing was going to break down, unfortunately. But I can't thank my team enough, my family, friends, everyone that's got my back. Yeah, don't think you'll be hearing from me for a while, mate. I'll be flying under the radar for a bit.
Utter heartbreak for Brock, and this will absolutely shape what inspires him and motivates him in season 2026. So they missed out on the Drivers' Championship, but they won the Teams' Championship, which puts them in P1 in the pit lane for next year. Penrite Racing was so consistent through the season, so they take up position 2. For Walker and Andretti United, that result on the weekend put them into 3rd. So that'll start to paint the picture around what it's going to look like for a lot of those teams next year with their pit priority.
Yeah, and that'll be a big thing. I mean, to actually win that is a huge part of the play, and for Toyota to be the 3rd garage straight away in their first year back.
Pretty cool. All right, coming up next, we're going to wrap up what has been an unbelievable season so far. And of course, we're going to take a look at some of the new faces on the grid for season 2026 as we head to this quick break. Here's where we're racing next year.
25 drivers refreshed, recharged and ready.
The 2026 Supercars Championship calendar is finally here with 14 rounds kicking off at SMP Feb 20 to 22nd.
Oh my goodness, it's been a change.
When we step through, that's gold, and if we turns gold.
Whatever happened to you after SMP, Cam?
Come on, mate.
And with the debut of a new manufacturer too joining the series, we're throwing the gates open for everyone for free on Friday.
Then it's the world stage for the Australian Grand Prix from March 5th to 8th.
Watch out for Matt Payne, mate.
Kiwis, we heard you. We're coming back.
Back to back.
That's it, our first New Zealand double header. First at Taupō on the 10th to 12th of April, and then down to Christchurch on the 17th to 19th.
Then we're over the Bass Strait and into Simmons Plains for the 22nd to 24th of May.
Oi, Randall, watch out for that line, big fella. Then we trade the cool for the heat in Darwin on June 19 to 21st.
Hopefully not too much heat, champ.
Then we head to the far north for Townsville from July 10 to 12.
Hey, good's Townsville, eh?
Been good for us, eh?
And a new name gets added to the winners list in Townsville.
Then we head out to the Wild West, Perth, from the 31st of July to the 2nd of August.
And then we're off to Queensland Raceway on the 21st to the 23rd of August. Home track advantage.
Now that's the Spring Cup wrapped up. Now we head into Enduros at the Bend on September 11th to 13th.
Then it's on to the big one, Bathurst, from the 8th to the 11th of October. Kangaroos, burnouts, and of course beers.
See the potential.
Hey, did you ever apologise to Kai?
No.
And then, well, we're here.
Where we hit the streets of Surfers for the start of the finals.
And the eliminations begin. And then we head to Melbourne for the second time for the Sandown 500. Then it all wraps up for the grand final in Adelaide.
Where we crown our champion.
It's heating up.
And we can't wait.
See you in 2026.
Instant influential.
Welcome back to the Formation Lap. It's been an incredible year. We've crowned a brand new champion. We've seen some of the closest margins ever, some of the fiercest battles on track, and we've navigated some of the most treacherous conditions, Mark Scaife, a la Bathurst and Friday in Adelaide. That was pretty wild. So I thought we'd take a look back on some of the highlights from the season. So we'll rewind right back to round one and that incredible battle between Cameron Waters and Brock Feeney. The side draft, it kind of set the tone for the year, didn't it?
It certainly did. What a cracking race. There was a biff before this. There was a redress from Feeney, and then in the end, when you look at the way that they finished, they come onto the start, finish straight down the hill on this side draft right at the death knock, Jess. Little side draft, and that was, at that point, the closest finish that we'd seen in supercar history. There was a race way back in 1983 or something between Moffat and Brock at Adelaide that before the proper timing come in. So this, with proper decimal places, was the closest finish that we've ever had. And that was, as you said, what a way to get it started, because then we saw dramas. We saw that Chaz and Kostecki battle at Taupo, right? They just kept on running into each other. They were off the road.
Check it out.
Check this out. So not only were they down through the grass and they were running into each other, check this one out, because he gives him a biff. This is Mostert down the inside, fires Kostecki wide out over the exit curb. And then when you look at the return of serve, Kostecki fires back down the inside at the same corner, ends up out in the grass, gets down to the apex, and then Chaz just escorts him wide. Kostecki wasn't very happy about all that, and then his young teammate Ryan Wood also parked him wide at the closing section, coming onto that back straight. And what about this one? This is probably the highlight of the year for me, because this battle, Kostecki and Waters, Kostecki drove around the outside of him at the cutting, and then watch this, up under the tree, get to the top of Solomon Park, it's wet, they're on slick tyres, and around the outside, never been done before, around the outside is Cam Waters at Reed Park. That was an unbelievable move, and that was one of the best races we've ever seen, wasn't it?
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Never.
Did you ever do that? I mean, they were pretty crazy. This was such a pivotal moment too, when you look at how Chaz was able to get this championship done. I mean, Ryan Wood did such a great job for him in being the rear gunner, and this was the difference, I reckon.
Well, it was. I mean, it gave Chaz sort of 4 to 4.5 seconds by being able to hold Will Brown off. And he held him off so much that we were calling him the New Zealand Defence Minister because he ended up parking him wide. He just held him up so well. And by doing it so aggressively, it just got Chaz a margin that was just unsurmountable at that point. So in the end, it was a great drive. Will Brown ends up firing down the inside. They end up making contact. But that was already done. You could see there Chaz dropping off into the distance. And that was, at that point, that was a massive momentum changer in the series.
I'll be interested to see how that baton next year between those two, because I don't think Will Brown was all that happy about it.
He wasn't.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what Square Up Day looks like between those two. We're sort of counting down, aren't we? Because one of the best moments of the year had to be at Bathurst when the rain came, and some of the performances that we saw from these young guys really emerged. Cooper Murray did a brilliant job. James Golding was really impressive. Ryan Wood, up until his car failed, was really, really impressive. But the day obviously belonged to Matt Payne, who did a brilliant job to become a Bathurst winner for the very first time for Garth Tander, his co-driver. That was win number 6. What did you love about the emergence of the talent that we have in the pit lane that day?
Well, they just grabbed the cars by the scruff of the neck and they drove them in the wet as well as I've ever seen. I mean, there was a lot of guys in contention there late. Even Davey Reynolds on the last lap was a chance to win. He was going to drive around the outside at the cutting. So when you think about young people enjoying driving in the rain and then ending up with the sort of outcome we did, and the biffing and barging and the move. What about Matt Payne around the outside of the chase? He was in the grass. He had 4 wheels in the grass at like 280 k's. So it was a cracking race.
Yeah, it was a supreme performance, that's for sure. I was interested to hear Chaz tell us a little earlier that he really felt like his drive on Saturday was his best of the year, because I thought his performance on the Gold Coast was just probably the best consecutive lot of performances that we've seen from him. I mean, that domination really set up his championship.
Well, we just couldn't believe the level of intensity when we got to the streets of the Gold Coast. In fact, we were about a second and a half faster in the first practice session from the time the guys rolled out. And then we saw those unbelievable images over that back chicane and the way that the guys were attacking it. And the drive on Saturday and Sunday for Mostert to win both races there, that was emphatic. That was a real statement in his championship campaign. And momentum in sport, Jess, is such a big factor. It's a pivotal factor leading into the last races, and he showed himself off on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, he was masterful, wasn't he? And I'm really pleased to hear that he's going to run the #1 plate next year. It's going to be pretty powerful, isn't it, when you think that they're going to roll out a brand new Toyota Supra supercar that will have the #1 badge on it. There's lots of change coming to the grid in 2026. We're going to have 5 rookies debut at Sydney Motorsport Park. So they're the guys that we'll have one eye on. We've had a glimpse of some of them, obviously, through the Enduros. And for Jaden Ojeda, he got a bit of a leg up to be in the car for the last 2 race weekends, to wrap his head around everything that's coming for him in supercars. But a lot of change, Mark. How are you anticipating that's going to roll out?
So how's this for a stat? You'll have a stat, Jess. From 25 to 26... year on year, there's going to be 15 of 24 changes, driver, team or manufacturer.
Wow.
So 62.5% of the field will change. That's the biggest in history. Bigger than when we changed and we had Mercedes and Nissan join back in 2013. So that's the biggest change we've ever seen. What's going to happen out of that, I think, is an opportunity for the teams who've got stability to capitalise on that stability. So think about Kostecki stays at Shell V-Power. Think about Payne and Allen. They've been very impressive this year. Think about Di Pasquale and Reynolds staying at Team 18. And then think about Cam Waters' chance to win the series at Tickford. So to me, the thing that's really important now is those teams that have got stability, make sure you do the best job in the off-season to come out firing in 26.
Everyone's looking forward to a break. It's been a really big year. But we're counting down now to round 1 of 2026. And, of course, we'll have you covered right here on Fox Sports, the home of supercars. We'll be back live from the 20th of February. Set the clock, set the date in the calendar. It's going to be an epic year next year. Well, Mark Skate, thank you. We've had a lot of fun on the Formation Lap this year. And thanks to you at home for your company. We'll see you for more supercars in 2026.